Welcome back to another video. Hello my Beatles friends. Another Beatles finds video. I've been traveling all around Europe lately, and later this month I'll continue traveling. So I want to show you what I got so far from my last video. Am I too bright? Yeah, I think it's better. Okay, so I was in Austria, I was all around Germany and some other countries. I found some singles and something around 15 LPs. There was also a record show in Munich. So I got other things to show and we'll have a little discussion. So first of all, I want to show you the most simple items, which is these three. These are Italian singles which were released in 1976 as a reissue. It's a series of reissued singles. They did not come in a box. They were sold separately, but all of them have same type of cover, this kind of cover, with different colors and different, the name of the singles. This is The Ballad of John and Yoko, which is green, with Let It Be, which is purple, and No Reply, which is orange. All of them look the same, and that's the back, and here on the back we have the catalog number, all of them. And here is the red album cover, and on front is the blue album cover. It's a 1976 reissue. I thought there was a box, but no, it was released without a box. And simple Apple on both sides. Nice find. I didn't know about their existence, but I found it. Next one, something that I already have, but it was nice find as well. It's a German single of two German songs, which is I Wanna Hold Your Hand and She Loves You in German language, in absolutely stunning condition. It was sold just like that, so I just took it for €1. Why not? Next one. Now we are coming to some rare items. Austria was not producing any Beatles records at all. No EPs, no no EPs, no LPs known to exist. But there are 3 singles released in standard generic cover with the Beatles picture, just like in Germany, but same thing was done in Austria. It was a white generic cover with Beatles picture on it. Kind of rare thing, I don't have it. But I do have this Austrian single, which is Ticket to Ride, and yes it is, which was made in Austria. This is one of the 3 ever produced Austrian Beatles records. One of the 3. On Parlophone, actually. It was not made on Polydor or anything. It was taken Parlophone. And Parlophone, E is missing. It has something similar to Italian design, but it's made in Austria. I found it in Vienna for €6. Next, this is interesting thing. This is a Greek single. It has this UK type of generic sleeve with the same lettering here on the bottom, and it says here made in Greece. Now this comes on Parlophone with E on purple label. That's the one. This is I Don't Want to Spoil the Party and 8 Days a Week. So it's my first Greek single, but not the first Greek album, if you know what I mean. And the Greek album that I have, most of you do not have. It's just a friendly reminder. Okay, next. My first 2 singles from the new country that I didn't have anything before. This is a generic sleeve Odeon from Turkey, and it says here Istanbul. Kind of interesting thing. And I have two singles from Turkey. First one, it's on Odeon, and it's I'll Get You, She Loves You. The design is very similar to the British one. You have a logo here, you have the number here. The design is very similar to the Love Me Do red label. Unfortunately, the push-out center is pushed out. And the second one, another variation of Hey Jude Revolution. This one is on yellow-orange Odeon label, also from Turkey. It says here, Tork Mali made in Turkey. Alameti Farika. I don't know what that means. My Turkish friends excuse my language. But this is another Turkish album. Single, sorry. Speaking of Hey Jude Revolution, we have this thing, made in Great Britain. Hey Jude Revolution on Parlophone label Export. It was sold for €4 in the market. Can you believe that? Mint condition, never been played. I was amazed to see that. Hey Jude, this is Revolution, and this is Hey Jude. Push out center on Parlophone label. And this generic sleeve also. The condition is good, but somebody wrote actually Revolution, the Beatles on it. But anyway. And here comes the rarest single for today. Well, actually it's not a single, it's an EP, but anyway. This is a French issue EP of the first songs with Tony Sheridan on Polydor. This is When the Saints, Cry for a Shadow, My Bonnie, and Why. The cover is absolutely in VG Plus condition. I was amazed to find it. And the record is on Polydor Star label, which is the first variation. And it also says here, it has a sticker here, that it says Sinfonia, 68 Champs-Élysées. There's a sticker of a store that it was sold. Very glad to find that thing. This is one of the rarest things to find today. And I have to admit that I found it for a relatively cheap price. So Vienna hunt was very, very successful. And one more find from Vienna. It has nothing to do with the Beatles, but as a token of respect, we have this thing. Rolling Stones, Painted Black, Long, Long While. The original German Decca press of Painted Black with original picture sleeve. A rare thing. Although it has some scratches, especially on Painted Black, but it doesn't affect the sound and there are no skips, no jumps, no nothing. So, respect to Rolling Stones. Now we go to the LPs. First LP, Beatles Oldies but Goldies, first original Italian pressing. How do we know that it's a first original Italian pressing? Let me explain you why. First of all, it says here Milano. It's non-laminated, but it's a glossy cover. It says here Dici Parlophone. And the number is PMCQ, which is Italian number. And the cover is absolutely in great condition. And here is the unique Parlophone label from Italy, which is on Parlophone without E. And this is on black Parlophone. Now, as we know, the first two albums, sorry, I mixed albums with singles today. The first two albums in Italy were issued on dark red Parlophone. The rest were issued on, the four next ones were issued on red Parlophone, and everything after that was released on black Parlophone. So which means, Please Please Me and With the Beatles, I mean Italian Please Please Me is actually the With the Beatles cover. The black cover is actually Italian Please Please Me. And the Italian With the Beatles is actually when they're standing on a fountain. These two were released on dark red Parlophone, which is the first issue. If you find one of those albums on either red or black, which means it's a reissue. Now, there are 4 later albums, which is With the Beatles, Beatles for Sale, Help, and Rubber Soul, were originally reissued on red label. And the rest on black label. So, this is qualified as the later. So, on black label, this album is the first issue. Okay, now the unique Italian pressing of Help is a gatefold cover, and the original cover is actually the back cover, and the front cover is the hotel picture of 4 of them in a row. Okay, so this is also Greek ones and made in Italy. I mean, they're all the same design. All of them are gatefold, and the original cover comes always in the back. So, Mr. Paul McCartney, Tug of War. Nothing special about this one, but I took it because I liked the album. It's a condition, and it's a Mexican pressing. It has the original inner sleeve. The LP is almost near mint condition. And the cover is American type cardboard sleeve, and it has here a stereo, the logo of stereo, and in the back it says Mexico. Well, what's interesting thing that this came also with an old article from Melody Maker magazine about the Beatles. It's 26th of February 1976, the original article, in a great condition. So really liked it. Next one. Next we have series of 4 albums, and it will not be a surprise to any one of you. We have Please Please Me, With the Beatles, Hard Day's Night, and Rubber Soul, all original first UK pressings. Now, Please Please Me is actually mono 5th press. With the Beatles is actually 2nd press, which is with Got A, not Got Ta. But it's pressed on Got on the Loft House, the cover, it's important. Hard Day's Night, which is also mono 1st press with the chubby lettering. And Rubber Soul is -4 mono 2nd press, not the loud cut. I mean, nothing new, nothing special here. These are just original UK albums in near mint condition. All 4. I'm not gonna concentrate on that. Then we have one more With the Beatles mono, exactly the same as the original British that I just showed, but here comes a little difference, and I was really amazed. The album actually that comes inside here is 1970s reissue on stereo. '76 stereo. I noticed that, but I didn't start arguing with the owner because I didn't want to go into that. I was interested in the cover, and I'm going to say why. This is 1976 French reissue on the 2 EMI box Parlophone label. So there's nothing special about it here. But this one, the cover is very interesting. Why? Because this cover is not a God on the Loft House. This cover is made by Ernest J. Day, which is a unique one, and I didn't have that until today. And so, which means I have 2 identical covers of mono with the Beatles, one made by God on the Loft House and one made by Ernest J. Day. So which means I have a cover without the record, and I have a French record without the cover. But for now I will keep them together. I didn't want to get into the argument with the guy, because that was the record show and now a lot of people are looking at Beatles records. So if I put it back, I'm gonna lose it. So you can't blame me for that, right? Okay, another one. Let It Be. This is stereo, something in Spanish, sorry guys, and it's 2C. I think this is from Spain, and that's what I thought when I was there. No, this one was from France, actually. I confused with another one. Okay, so this is a French C'est disque on mono as well. So I think it says here this record can be played also as the mono. So it's a Paté Marconi laminated, almost near mint condition record, and cover, sorry. And the record is also VG Plus condition on a French Apple label. Great find, and actually it was rather cheap. And it was actually from the same from the same seller as with the Beatles. I was surprised that he sells those records so cheap. Another Let It Be. This is Spanish. Now, if you notice, the colors on both kind of differ. This is kind of more sharp and dark, and this is more reddish and more blurry. Once again, this is laminated Spanish cover and same Apple with a different catalog number. So I have French and Spanish Let It Be, both in VG Plus condition. VG++. Okay, next one. Okay, now here we are coming to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rarest and unique albums. Now I challenge you if any one of you has those albums. This is Sgt. Pepper. That's the cover of Sgt. Pepper. I bet you didn't know that. Okay, now this one is not a gatefold. This is just the cover. I'm not gonna take it out from because it's a bit fragile. And it says here, manufactured Dum Dum, India. This is an Indian first pressing on stereo. And let me show you the label. This looks exactly as British one, but there is a little difference. It says made in India, obviously, and instead of sold in UK, it says registered trademark of gramophone, and the fonts are a bit different. But it's a 229 grams record with the cover, which is very heavy, and this is the indication that it's an Indian first press. Some people tell me that it's a second press, and I tend to agree, but I haven't seen the picture of the first press. I think the first press has the text all around, but I think it's a first press, second variation. But anyway, it's such a great condition from 1968. Not a single scratch, not a single hair, nothing. Absolutely stunning VG Plus condition. Unfortunately, the cover is a little bit worse. It's a VG minus, I would say. But for that price, absolutely a great find. So now we are going back to Switzerland. You know, there is a country called Switzerland, somewhere in the middle of Europe, and they exported this revolver cover from Germany. Now, how can you know that it's an export? If you look at the cover, is the logo here. You see revolver and you see the Odeon, but it's missing the Herzu label. If it's missing the Herzu label and the number is SMO 74161, this is a export to Switzerland. Laminated cover in absolutely VG Plus condition. And the record looks mostly almost identical to the German. It's a red gold powerful Odeon label, sorry. But instead of number SHZE, it has SMO. So if you see that number on revolver, that means you have an export to Switzerland. Okay. There are a few other exports to Switzerland, and the most rare of them is a help with a unique cover on the beach. That one goes for several $100 easily. Another export to Switzerland, which is Sgt. Pepper. Now, with the Sgt. Pepper, there is a little trick that you have to know. There is a regular export of Sgt. Pepper, and there is a unique, expensive one. I'm gonna show you how to identify. First of all, it has normal German cover. It has the normal insert, which has made in Germany. I mean, there are no possibility to identify that looking at the cover. So the only thing that you have to look at is the record. Before that, if you find this inner sleeve with Sgt. Pepper, you take it. Because this inner sleeve to find in a mint condition, not possible. This is also red gold Odeon label. Now, the German one is SHZE catalog number, but this one has SMO. But this one actually is a regular export to Switzerland. This is not a Teldec. There is also a Teldec issue, which is a couple $100 more expensive than this one. Now, how can you identify? First of all, on the groove here, it has to be embossed, manufactured in Germany, and also around this circle there should be a around the spindle hole there should be a circle. Okay, but here it's a flat, so it's not a Teldec. If you find this SMO with manufactured in Germany embossed here and a circle around here, that means you have Teldec perversion, and it goes for several $100 easily. Easily. And now, last two albums. This one, this is something new. Actually, I've shown this one previously in my channel, and I want to briefly mention, I have 3 export pressings. All of them are exports. The first export, which is on Parlophone, made in Great Britain, and it has Parlophone in the rim text and a perimeter text. This one, identical cover, identical label, but the only difference is that it has gramophone on the rim text. And this one is late 69 export on a silver black Parlophone label. And the Monster Rare, the rarest thing, I never thought I would get it. This is an export pressing. This is on Parlophone label. I'm not gonna take it out. And the rim text says here gramophone. I didn't find the picture also in internet that says Parlophone on the rim text. So I think this is the only issue. Now, these 2 export pressings also exist as a mispress. Although it was made in Great Britain, it was not supposed to be sold on UK soil, but it says here sold in UK, which is an error. These 2 exports do have that. Now, there is a third export, which is the Beatles' second album, and I don't have it yet, but I will get it eventually. And I don't know if there is a difference with Parlophone, gramophone and sold in UK. I don't know that, but it's yet to come. Now, the only thing that I would like to add, that these export pressings, they have CPCS. Eventually that first C prefix was added because they are capital albums, and that's why we have CPCS. Alright? So these are 2 of the 3 UK export pressings. There are in total 8 export albums. I have, I think, 3. There's also Hey Jude. I could get Hey Jude, but I passed it because it was in a bad condition. Eventually I'll get it someday, but right now my target is to get the second album, which is also an export. Alright, so that was my hunt for the last 2 weeks, and many more albums are coming in the near future. I think on 25th or 26th of April there will be another video with another finds, because I bought them but they're still not here. Also this Saturday there is a record show not far away from here. 21st and 22nd of April there is a record show in Holland, which was the former Utrecht. And then 29th I have another record show, and so many things are coming in April. All right, but that's it for this one. I say thank you, goodbye, see you in my next video, and hit the like, hit the bell, hit subscribe, hit whatever you want, but not people and not records, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.